Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for another episode, season 1 of the Braxtons, episode 7. They're calling this Lights, Camera, Action. And we know these ladies love, these sisters love a camera, including Miss E. They love a camera. Normally I retitle an episode and I couldn't really come up with a name this week, y'all. But one thing I did do was I got in touch with my feelings after this episode. And I felt like, dang, is this whole season about sickness? It really does feel like this whole season just about sickness and misery and sadness and ugh. It really is a really heavy season. I don't really know. This wasn't what I expected, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. When the Braxtons said they were gonna come back, this is not what I expected. I thought maybe they would do like a little honoring of Tracy, but then I thought the show would try to get back to what it was about before, and they would show, their lives and what's going on in their lives. But really, that's not what this show is about. And you know what? We can't blame no one except these Braxton sisters because they're all the executive producers. They're all the executive producers. And I feel like they're the ones that steered the way this whole show was going and the way they've kind of laid it out. It wasn't a good format. It wasn't a good format. I mean, between Tamar and her mental illness that she's going through and all of her mental health, she's doing quite a few things to try to get better. That's good. I'm happy that. Then we got to deal with Tawanda's alopecia, when before earlier it was about solidarity with Tracy. We find out it's alopecia. And be honest with you, I'm not so sure that it's just not that mama gave Tawanda a bad perm back when she was young. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I kind of feel like Tawanda, because that mama went to beauty school, beauty college. And what I hear is that back in the day, she was a stay-at-home mom. So she opened up a hair salon down in the basement of her house and was doing hair. I don't know if she fully got her license, but I kind of feel like she might have given Tawanda a bad perm, because Tawanda on this show started talking about she done had this since she was 6 or 7 years old. That sounds like a bad perm to me. One of them perms with all that lie in it. That mama was probably practicing on all these sisters, because I think all of them have some hair loss. I'm not gonna lie. I think all of them have some hair loss. So I think that mama was doing some home perms back when they was younger and took out these girls' hair. Because even Miss E, maybe she was doing it on herself. We ain't never seen Miss E's hair either. But anyway, so between all this sickness and illness, and then we got Tony, every episode, I don't want to sound insensitive, especially because you know what, y'all? I got a sister with lupus, and I even talked to her about this. Tony and this lupus is every episode. Every episode, we got to be talking about one of Tony's illnesses. It's either lupus, or now she's talking about bronchitis. What else does she talk about? Fatigue. Every episode, grief. Every episode, it's like misery with Tony. Is Tony ever happy? She can't even tell no joke, and she got a person from the king of comedy standing right next to her. Can Tony be lighthearted, fun, and happy? We just don't see it. I think this is just her. I think she tries to say it's about lupus. But like I said, I got a sister with lupus. She takes her medication. If she gets too stressed, it flares up. But it doesn't consume her. And I understand that there's different levels of lupus. And I understand that maybe my experience with my own sister with lupus cannot be Tony's. But Tony is in a miserable situation, it seems like, every episode. I think it's just her. To be honest with you, I think it's all these sisters. They're just miserable. I think in their core, they're miserable, and they try to sort of put on this makeup. They try to put on this glam. They try to put on this fake facade to make us think that they're not. But underlining of it all, I think they are. Trina and all this drinking. Every episode, we got to watch Trina drinking or eating all her pain away. Trina, stop all this drinking. Let me tell you something. I know Trina says she can't sleep at night. She's up all night. And she keeps saying it's because she's thinking about Tracy. No, you up all night because you're doing all this drinking, Trina. Let me tell you something. When you get older, all you young people out there, when you get older, your body don't process stuff. Your metabolism slows down. Your body don't process all that alcohol and sugar as fast as it used to. Y'all know, remember you was young and you could go out drinking. The next day you could get up and be fine and go to work. Yeah, because your body's metabolism was fine. As you get older, your body slows down. As a result, when you drink, you don't just pop back. As a result, your body has to work harder to process all that alcohol and all that sugary come from these drinks she's ordering. And then next thing you know, if you all up all night going to pee because your liver and your kidneys is working overtime trying to flush your system out of this alcohol. Trina keeps thinking that her not sleeping is all over Tracy. And no, it's not over that. And you know what? I also don't want to sound insensitive that Tracy's now been passed for 2 years. And these ladies act like Tracy's death consumes them every single day. I have lost both a mother and a father. So I have experienced extreme death in my lifetime. And everyone has experienced extreme death. So I want y'all to think back to, people you've lost in your life. Hopefully not a child. But the way these ladies talk, they act like grief of Tracy's death consumes them every day. I think it's the guilt. I think it's the guilt that haunts them every single day. But someone who doesn't seem like they're grieving every single day, that mama gonna outlive all these sisters. Everybody walking around talking about their ailments. Trina and her alcoholism, she can't sleep, she got insomnia. Tamar over here wearing waist beads to ward off spirits and evil energy. Tawanda's still talking about her alopecia and her lying. And Tony over here got a whole litany of illnesses from lupus to bronchitis to enormous amount of grief. She can't. And then the mama's sitting over here talking about how good she looks. How good she lives. That Miss Evelyn is going to outlive all these daughters. And she the cause of it. She the cause of it, but she gonna end up outliving all of them, and she don't complain about one illness, not one illness at all. You would think it's the older person sitting around talking about their illnesses. You ever visit an older person and you walk in and you say, "Hi, Grandpa, hi, Grandma, hi, Great Grandma," whatever you call them, Big Mama, and you go, "How you doing today?" "Ooh, baby girl, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt, my arthritis is kicking up." They be having a whole list of things that's hurting them. That's what these sisters sound like. You have lunch with them, you got to get a rundown on their whole health record, health condition. I couldn't hang out with none of these Braxton sisters because they love misery. They love wallowing in it. They love creating it. Even this whole thing with Tracy. They couldn't focus on the good parts of Tracy's life. Even in this whole season about trying to honor Tracy, they couldn't focus on nothing good about Tracy. How she lived her dream. All they want to focus on is what's horrible happened with Kevin Jr. and how they can tear down Kevin Sr. Even in their quest to honor their sister Tracy, who was supposed to be the fun one, the outgoing one, who brought all the fun to the group, what they take the whole season do is focus on all the parts of Tracy's life that might have caused her a bit of grief. Because I know Tracy has some grief over this son, Kevin Jr., because he's given us grief. He is giving us grief this season. But that's a long introduction. So if you're still here, listen to my rant. Please don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to drop a comment down in the comment section because my comments be popping. I really love my comments. I try to read them all. I try to respond, especially to my members, especially to my subscribers. When I have a lot of comments, I kind of got to subscribe. I kind of got to answer them in an order, and I typically answer my comments based on my channel members and then my subscribers. And then I try to get to all the other ones. So I appreciate you guys dropping down in the comments. I appreciate all my new subscribers. Thank you for letting me know you just subscribed. I love to hear that. And I love to see you down in the chat. But let's get on into this season a little bit thicker. But like I said, this whole season, even this episode was just, it was depressing, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. It was a bit depressing talking about all the mental and physical illnesses of this lady. They started off going to this nail salon, and you had Trina and Tawanda trying to hold up the show. Is this show really? This show really is. Tawanda, you all know that Tawanda and Trina were the real people behind the show. Tawanda, Trina, and that mother. They're the ones that really wanted this show. Because just like Tamar said, she's just a friend. She wanted to keep an arm's length because the sisterhood ain't sistering. Woo! Tamar said this sisterhood ain't sistering, and I'm going to try to keep a little bit of a distance, but at the same time, I'm still going to be an executive director or executive producer. So maybe Tamar said, I really want an arm's length for my sisters, but I do want some creative control because I want to make sure they don't throw me under the bus. Maybe that's what Tamar wanted. Maybe that's why she went and talked to messy Carlos King. Maybe she went to Carlos King and said, listen, Carlos King, we doing this show. Remember she said Carlos King kept her secret. And I kept saying, Tamar, why are you going over there to talk to Carlos King? Why are you over there telling him your sister's business? What Carlos King got to do with any of this? Maybe I'll give Tamar the benefit of the doubt. And maybe Tamar said, let me go on over here and talk to a producer like Carlos King, who is the king of messy, who knows all the underhanded stuff producers will do to a show to make you look bad. Maybe I'll go on over here and talk to Carlos King and get a few tips. Carlos, tell me what I need to do, because I'm going to end up being on this show because my mama begged me, because my mama needs some spotlight. My mama needs some lights, camera, action. You know that mama needs it. She needs it. And Tawanda needs a check. Trina needs a check. Tony really don't want to have too much to do with it. So all she does is film from her Bentley. Any scene with Tony is always about Tony in the Bentley, Tony eating at some fancy restaurant, or Tony rehearsing for her lights, camera, action show. Tony liked the spotlight too. Let's not absolve any sisters. They all like the spotlight and they all compete for the spotlight. And I'm telling you, this came from their childhood. That mother always wanted the spotlight, and it taught the sisters to compete for the spotlight. And what they do is they climb over each other. It's like crabs in a barrel. No, I got to be at the top. No, I got to be at the top. So it's really hard for them to celebrate each other's real successes, because in celebrating some other person's success, you got to acknowledge that maybe you didn't achieve that moment. We all know that when Tamar really made it big, I thought, let me just talk with myself. I thought Tony would do a lot more champion of her sister, Tamar, at that time. And I didn't really see it. She didn't put her down, but I thought she would be much more. I thought I would see them doing more shows together, really, but I didn't really see that. I think in some ways, Tony also likes the spotlight. And what I noticed about Tony with her illnesses is that whatever storyline she can get to have it on her, even if it's illness, she'll take it. You ever know someone where any attention is good attention, sometimes even if it's negative? So a lot of ways, I think Tony uses her illness to get even more attention. And any other time we see her filming, it's either her getting glammed up in the Bentley or whatever. So I think all these sisters suffer from attention-seeking behavior. And sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's positive. But the underlying theme is that they will go out of their way to get attention. And we're seeing this even off the show. We're seeing these shows going on, these YouTube channels with Trina and Tawanda. Every time the show is over, they still got to go out and angle for even more attention. We see the acting out that we see what Tamar does. It's all attention-seeking behavior. And you know where it comes from. It comes from that mama, because even during this whole episode, this mama was throwing shade at Tawanda. When that mama talks about even this date she went on when they were getting their nails done, that mama was talking about, yeah, how was your date, mama? They were asking her, how was your date, mama? She was like, yeah, I walked in, I was looking real cute. I know somebody gonna drop in my comments and say, what's wrong with Miss Evelyn talking about she look cute? Ain't nothing wrong with giving yourself a compliment, but it happens every episode. Every episode, Miss E got to talk about how good she looks. Every episode. And it's almost as if she is competing with her daughters, to be the prettiest in the bunch, to be the most sought after. He said, that's what I'm saying. Last week, people were talking about what's wrong with an older person wanting to go out. I never said nothing's wrong with an older person wanting to go out and date or wanting to have love. No, this Miss E ain't talking about having a companion to go to the movies with, go for a walk in the park. Miss E is talking about how good she looks, how fine she is, and she want a man with a bag. What? To pay for your medication? To pay for your AARP membership card? What for, Miss Evelyn? What for? Then she talked about this man had on all purple. She talked about him with all his purple on. And they were asking, what did you like about him? And she said, well, I like that he was a man. So you didn't like nothing about him. There was nothing positive about him. How about the fact that he showed up to go on even on this date with you? How about that he's a trooper? How about that he's sitting upright and didn't need no oxygen tank at his age of 80? I don't know how old that man was. But then she says, I swear I don't like none of my daughters to hook me up because they don't know how to do it right. Then stop asking them. You was the one that asked Tony to hook you up. Tony had to go over there and ask, what's his name? Michael Costello to find a date for you. But yet you come on here and say you don't want them to do it. Well, if you don't want them to do it, then find your own dates. She been divorced from Mr. E for I don't know how years. Why hasn't Miss Evelyn remarried? Why hasn't Miss Evelyn found her own new husband, new boyfriend, or whatever? So don't in one way ask your daughters for help, but then complain about what your daughters do. Find your own man. Miss Evelyn, like I said, is not trying to find no man because she really does not want to be in any relationship where she won't be the center of attraction. And right now, Miss Evelyn has the best setup. Why would she give this up? She got all her bills darn near being paid by either Tony or Tamar. Okay, she gets to be the queen bee because all these daughters bow down to Miss Evelyn. They let Miss Evelyn shade them, everything. Their whole lives are surrounding around making Miss Evelyn comfortable. Why would Miss Evelyn go out and get a new man? For what? So she can lose the money coming in from Tony and Tamar? No. It's like alimony. You know how if you get alimony and you get remarried, your alimony stops? Miss E ain't gonna stop none of this. None of it, not one bit. Not one bit. I almost feel like Miss Evelyn's trying to relive her days when she's younger. And I mean, in one way I can understand it because Miss Evelyn had 6 kids by the age of 29. 29, since 19 years old, she was having kids for 10 years straight. She had 6 kids in 10 years. And I feel like Miss Evelyn felt she missed out on those young years. And now, after that time, she was done raising kids. When Tamar finally left the house, Miss Evelyn was done raising kids. That's why I don't think Miss Evelyn has too much interest in being like really intently close to her grandchildren, because I think Evelyn she didn't really want that many kids, but maybe back then, birth control wasn't really that readily available. So every time she had sex with Mr. Braxton, maybe she wound up pregnant. I don't know. Maybe that's why, part of why they kind of broke up. Because let me tell you, could you imagine getting pregnant every year after a while as a woman if you didn't want to get pregnant? What would you do if birth control isn't ready available and you are so fertile like Miss E was, where darn near when a man breathes on you, you get pregnant? You know what you would probably stop doing? You would probably stop having sex. You would probably say, you know what? I don't want to have sex no more because I keep getting pregnant. And maybe that was one of the things that happened with Mr. Braxton. Maybe Evelyn closed up the cookie shop, and that's another thing that made Mr. Braxton start going off somewhere else, because I don't know, Miss Evelyn, she really ain't interested in being no real involved grandparent, and that's okay, but you do wonder where it came from. And when I see the way Miss Evelyn likes to keep reliving her youth, trying to get her youth back here at her age, it reminds me of a person who felt like she never had that moment in her life, and now she wants it now. She wants it now. But yeah, they were talking about her date. Trina was talking about, they want to get ready for this photo shoot. Trina wants to be 10 pounds lighter. I tell you, Trina, you could drop the 10 pounds, lay off the alcohol, because alcohol puts a lot of weight on you. Trina keep acting like she don't know the answer to her problems, to her insomnia, to her weight gain. Trina, the answer is stop drinking so much, but she don't want to do that. She don't want to do that. But But they over here talking about their hair. Trina said, I can't afford to take this hair out and put it back in. Because we know Trina's broke. Trina's broke. She needs money. And Miss Evelyn said, you can afford it, girl. You can afford it. Miss Evelyn, why don't you do her hair? You got a cosmetology license. Oh, yeah. You the one that gave them bad perm. I know Miss Evelyn gave these girls a bad perm when they was younger. Because let me tell you, it was too expensive to be go getting your hair done with 6 girls. Miss Evelyn said, I got to learn how to do these girls' hair myself. I'm going to go to cosmetology school. I'm going to practice on these girls' head. And Miss Evelyn done messed up everybody's hair in that house. Everybody's. Because I think everybody's hair is, I guess everybody in this family can claim they got alopecia because they all wear wigs and weaves. And I don't know if any of them have ever had really a healthy set of hair. I think this goes back to childhood. Everything goes back to that childhood. I'm telling you. And then Miss Wanda was throwing some shade, telling Trina, why don't you just go into there and get another wig of Wanda because she don't need it. She don't wear it. Tawanda was like, ooh, the shade of it all. It sure was shady. I'm telling you, this mama loves to shade her daughters at all times. And she be meaning it too. She means it. The only one she won't shade is Tony because Tony is paying her bills. The only one she won't shade is Tony because Tony is paying her bills. But yeah, when Tony was at that rehearsal for her show with Cedric the Entertainer, and she told the story that the way they met was that their kids were dating each other. So I guess that's kind of cute. And all the sisters and the mom came to her rehearsal, and she was telling some carrot and mushroom joke. And she's standing next to Cedric the Entertainer, and she couldn't get no better joke. That joke was a flop. It was a big flop. It wasn't even funny. It wasn't even, not only wasn't funny, it wasn't even worth a smile. I hope Tony don't tell that at her concert. Why can't Tony be happy? She can't even tell a joke. Like I said, she got the king of comedy standing right next to her, but she can't tell no jokes. Oh, maybe it's because Cat Williams said that Cedric the Entertainer steals all his jokes. Tony, maybe you should have got Cat Williams as your laugh partner. Then maybe he would have given you a good joke to tell. Woo! I tell you, Cat Williams was telling on that Shannon Sharp about this was going to be the year of truth. And here we are. Some truth is coming out in this show. Maybe now we find out that Cedric can't even give Tony a good joke to tell too. Maybe Cat Williams was right. Maybe Cedric don't have no original jokes. I don't know. What is going on, people? What is going on in 2024? But then they had this scene at Yamashiro's. I've been at Yamashiro's, y'all, plenty of times. In fact, one of my sisters got married at Yamashiro's. It's been there a long time. It's in Hollywood Hills. It is a beautiful place. Years ago, my sister got married there. I want to say 30 years ago. Yeah, they ain't married no more, though. It was a beautiful wedding, but they're not married no more. But anyway, you could tell that Tawanda and Trina love the spotlight. They're really trying to carry this show, but they really can't. Don't nobody want this much footage of Tawanda and Trina frickin' frat when they out here doing all this dirt on Kevin Sr. They a nasty piece of work, Trina and Tawanda. They doing some dirty work out here in these streets for sure. They talk about this hummingbird came buzzing around them, and they say the hummingbird was was Tracy. They better hope Tracy don't poop on them or poke them with that hummingbird beat for all the mess they causing in Tracy's life. That's what they better hope for. They better hope that hummingbird don't come over there and poke them in the eye with that hummingbird beep. Because let me tell you, they doing some nasty, dirty work out here in these YouTube streets. Nasty, dirty work. I know they say they're not the one that dropped that tape, and I don't have no proof that they did it. But I just feel like it was a coincidence because y'all done told me that on on Trina's Sipping Cocktails show, where she's sipping cocktails, once again, that she says, oh, we got tapes and maybe it's time we release them. And then next thing you know, the tape got released. Trina might have been drunk and didn't even know what she was saying, but she was spilling the truth. You know, they say alcohol is a truth serum. She probably forgot what she was saying and she ended up telling the whole truth. And next thing you know, the video gets dropped. But I was watching over there on Sherelle's World because Sherelle don't like Tawanda. Woo, Any of y'all watch, I think her name is Sherelle's World. She do not like Tawanda. Not at all. She can't stand Tawanda. She was going in on Tawanda. And she was telling a whole story over there. I don't know if it's true. She was basically saying that nobody in the family even liked Sean. And shoot, instead of calling him Sean, Tawanda's boyfriend, she was talking about him like he's Sean Puff Diddy Combs. Somebody need to go do a raid on Tawanda Sean's house and see if he got a room full of baby oil and pink powder and everything else. Because the way Sherelle was talking over there, she didn't say nothing directly. She just said we need to read between the lines. But the lines she was drawing, I was reading between them. And when she started talking about Sean don't need to be around Tawanda's kids, I was like, what? What? Are we talking about Sean, Tawanda Sean? Or are we talking about Sean Puff Diddy Combs? Where is the baby oil? BYOB. Bring your own baby oil. Puff Diddy Combs was throwing these elegant parties. And you know how people be throwing them BYOB parties? Bring your own beer. Bring your own beverage, drinking beverage. Puff Diddy Combs was like, I ain't throwing no BYOB. You ain't got to bring your own baby oil to my parties. He says, I got 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. I guess the people going to them parties was like, I'm up here going, I guess, you know what, if you think about it, let's say you a highfalutin person and you go into one of these sex parties that P. Diddy is throwing and you show up, in your Maybachs and your Bentleys and your $30,000 watches, and you go into this sex party and you be like, what kind of party is this if I got to bring my own baby oil and my own lube? Puff Diddy Combs said, we got a plenty of stock on hand. We're going to have everything you need. We got everything you need. You ain't got a BYOB, nothing. We got it all. Just show up. Just show up. Another miserable life. His life is miserable. And it's going to be even more miserable because he's going to jail, y'all. He is going to jail. But then we got these sisters going to this photo shoot. And there go Miss E with more shade. I tell you, Miss E sit in that chair comparing herself to all her daughters, looking at all her daughters and talk about how she better than daughters. She looked at Trina and she said, Trina, I ain't never seen hair get teased in a long time. Shade. Why are you getting teased hair in 2024, Trina? That mama said, well, okay then. Shady Miss Evelyn. And then she looked over at Tawanda and she goes, Tawanda, do you carry your razor around with you wherever you go? Woo! That Miss Evelyn, she gonna point out what's wrong with her daughters. She gonna point it out and how she look better while she sit over there with her own wig on. Miss Evelyn, just stop it, girl. Really, you need to really stop it. This is enough. This is enough, Miss Evelyn. And then when she finally get in front of the camera, she goes, I want you to get my good side. Make sure you get my good side. And the photographer said, well, Miss Evelyn, I think both sides are good sides. And she said, you right. You sure right about that. Girl, can this woman get any more obsessed with herself? Can she get any more obsessed with herself? Is it possible? And then we all running around talking about, where's Tamar? Where is Tamar? Come to find out, Tamar is like, you all gonna have to Photoshop me into this picture because I ain't coming. I am not coming. Like I said, I'm a friend to this show, even though I'm an executive producer, because I want to make sure y'all don't try to make me look bad. But I'm going to stay over here in wherever she is, Atlanta or wherever she is. She might be in LA right down the street, but she says, I ain't showing up to your photo shoot. I am not showing up to your photo shoot. I think she in Atlanta. And she says she been wearing these waist beads for over 3 years because she's trying to create better energy and absorb energy. So this, you know what? This further solidifies for me, maybe not for y'all, that the reason why Tamar didn't really too much know about Tracy to the last end, because Tamar wasn't talking to the family. Tamar had already started distancing herself from her family because she just said she's had these energy beads for 3 years. Tamar must have been going on this journey to heal, which is good. And part of that was distancing herself from her family. So the reason why she probably was a lot on the outs of what was going on with Tracy was because Tamar has started distancing herself from the family. And let me tell you, it's becoming more and more clear that that's where Tamar is going to stay. And you know what? Tamar should probably try to live in that space. One thing Tracy did was Tracy kept trying to also get accepted by her sister. She kept saying, I don't understand why you guys treat me like a stepchild. She kept trying to fight against it. She really wanted to be treated and loved in a different kind of way by her sisters, but they never did. And I think in the end, Tracy finally realized that it was never going to happen. She tried to sort of create a different life outside of that by herself. And I think that's now what Tamar is trying to realize. And I think that's why Tamar understands Tracy so much more. Tamar didn't understand Tracy, but I think Tamar is starting to understand Tracy more and understanding why Tracy felt the way she did and why Tracy had to do what she did, which was choose her husband and her son, because Tracy came to the realization that the family is toxic. Tamar is just now coming to that conclusion that her family is toxic. And I think prior to Tracy even getting really ill, Tamar has started distancing herself because she says she's been wearing these waist beads for 3 years. And she didn't even know too much about Tracy until the end. And here she is still distancing herself. Tamar don't really want to be around her sisters. So, really these sisters have stopped talking about how great their sisterhood, because the sisterhood ain't sistering. It really isn't. And I don't know why they just can't say that. Tamar, I think you're doing the right thing. Stay over there, get yourself healed, because you got a lot of undoing to do in your life. A lot of undoing. You may know where the cause of it is, but right now, Tamar, you are still carrying around a lot of the characteristics of the family. So you might have left the family, but you're still carrying a lot of traits of the family. So you not only have to separate yourself, you've got to shed some of that antics, some of that behavior. And just when you think Tamar is doing better, all of a sudden you see a video on YouTube, the way she acting with this Jeremy guy, and then you realize, dang, Tamar, you ain't made that much progress. The day Tamar can stop getting on Instagram and going to Twitter and Instagram and doing the stuff she does, that's when you know she's healed. She ain't healed yet because she still is into the drama and the antics and all the other stuff. She's still doing it even though her sisters aren't around. She's still doing it. It's almost like a person who are on drugs and say, the reason I'm on drugs is I keep hanging around all these drug addicts. And then we say, okay, well, you need to get a different crowd. You need to stop hanging around those people who are a bad influence on you. And they go, yeah, because the only reason I'm on drugs is because I'm hanging around drug addicts. So then they stop hanging around drug addicts. And next thing you know, you go, hey, you doing better. And go, no, all they did was go find another group of drug addicts. That's Tamar. Tamar separated herself from her family. But then all Tamar did was go find and hook up with this Jeremy JR guy. He's just as toxic. So all you did was trade your toxic family for toxic JR. So you were drawn to toxicity, Tamar. You're drawn to it. So even though you left behind the toxicity of your family, or you're drawn to toxicity. So all you did was go out and find a different drug addict, a different toxic person. She got to understand it. I'm telling you, this stuff in this family is pathological. It's going to create a lot of illness and sicknesses in these ladies. It really is, because they don't understand where the root of it is, and they don't want to get to the root of it. They don't want to really discuss the root of it, because lo and behold, they do not want to disturb that mama. They don't want to disturb it. They know that if they have to start peeling off that Band-Aid, if they have to start peeling off that scab, they're too afraid that it would be disrespectful to that mama, and that mama will go off. So as a result, they got to stay where they are. They got to be unhealed. They got to live in misery. In misery. What they think, they're not going to be free until their mama passes away? To live like this, it's almost like they're in a chokehold of this life, this way that the mom lived with the dad. They're in a chokehold from their parents. And They can't go outside of that because they would feel like they're disrespecting their mother. And it's only because the disrespect they feel they would give their mother because they're comfortable disrespecting the father. Like I said, I'm going to do another deeper show because I know Tamar mentioned to us that she believes that this show is good for the culture. I think what is good for is exposing that a lot of these things that happen in this family happen in a lot of families. And why it happens, I think, is the interesting part of all this. So I think I'm going to do a video maybe this next coming week. So hopefully you guys subscribe. I'm going to do a video, and I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to break down the video that Tony did on what was the show with Jada Pinkett, Red Table Talk, because Tony revealed a lot in that interview because I watched it years ago. I'm going to bring that back. We're going to do a throwback. And we're going to break that down because Tony actually revealed a lot of the pathological issues in this family. And maybe that will help a person. Maybe that will help a person release their own pathological toxicity from their family and they can live again. Because right now, these ladies cannot live again because they're so bound by the trauma in their life and they're still unwilling to let go of it. They're still unwilling to uncover it and break hold of that stronghold it's got on them. So there'll be no healing until they confront it, until they admit it. They will live in it forever. Tamar said it's shedding season. It's shedding season. But what she's trying to shed is she's shedding the people, but she's not shedding the root cause of her issue. So as a result, even though she sheds her sisters, all she does is go over and find another toxic, even more toxic person to take the place. So, I don't know, Tamar. Good luck to you. I'm happy she's trying. She's doing something. But she needs to see what she's doing. And it's not going to really pan out if she doesn't really get to the root of the issue with her mother. And then we got Tawanda, Lywanda, whatever you want to call her. That's what I call her. Over here putting on a whole act with Sean about how much Sean loves her and he's surprising her with flowers at the photo shoot. He done flown cross country to be here. Tawanda, this is all staged. Girl, that was no surprise. You an executive producer of the show. You knew Sean was flying out. You staged it. You wanted it to happen. As many things as Tawanda stages, I think, y'all, my opinion is that when they was doing that little group therapy session, and all of a sudden the police knock at Scratchy's door just at the moment that they are filming. Is that a coincidence, or did Tawanda stage that too? I don't trust Tawanda as far as I can throw her. Sean over there looking at her picture saying, "You look good, girl. You look good at this photo shoot." He's like, "You ought to wear this to something special, accept something." She goes, "What, to accept my Oscar?" Yeah, like I said, an Academy Award performance by Tawanda. You're right, Tawanda. You do deserve an Oscar because all this season, this stuff has been acting. Tony over here talking about, Tamar is not here, and she wished she was here, but I respect her, and she says, we all don't know how much time we have left, so we got to figure out how to be together. No, probably what y'all need to figure out is just how to be happy, period. I think these sisters are trying to force, it's an old saying, trying to force a square peg in a round hole. Instead of trying to figure out how to be together, what they need to figure out is how to be happy, period, by themselves. Because once you can be happy, period, by yourselves, then you can join with someone else, even whether it's a sisterhood, a marriage, or relationship. You got to learn to be happy by yourselves. And be honest with you, I don't know if these sisters have complete happiness all by themselves. When they're sitting alone by themselves, no lights, camera, action around them, are they happy? Are they happy? Even last episode, even Tamar walked in and she was sad and depressed, and the guy asked her, "How you doing, Tamar?" She goes, "Oh, I'm not really feeling good because I want to be happy, but I feel guilty for being happy." That's what it looks like. And this has been going on for a lot of years. They're saying it's just about Tracy that they can't be happy. No, this is going back many, many years about why they can't be happy. Because let me tell you, if you're living in a house with a mama and a daddy has a whole other family for 10 years, you got a fake happiness. You got a fake happiness. How can you have a relationship with a woman for 10 years and your kids don't know it? You don't think them kids is running around figuring out where is daddy all this time? Where is daddy? He's at work or he's with his mistress. Come on now, y'all. These girls have learned how to fake happiness for a lot of years. You know how much covering up they had to do for that family because the father had a whole nother family. The mother knew it. That mother probably told them girls, keep it to ourselves. We got to put on a brave face. Let's put on a whole face of makeup. Let's look pretty. Let's put these perms in our hair that's going to take out all our hair just so we can look good. So we could tell people because we look good, we feel good on the inside. But nah, they don't feel good on the outside. They look pretty on the outside, all of them, right? But on the inside, they're dying, they're hurt, they're broken, they're sad. And this whole season has been about their misery. Then they all meet up at dinner once again at Mr. Chow's. And, Tawana's over here. Tony, you think you ever get married again? And Tony's like, no, I don't think that I'm the marrying type. And probably she won't get married again because these girls only marry to have somebody taking care of their kids. After they come off the road, they get divorced all them husbands, just like Tony. Tony came off the road because she said she had lupus, which she did. And next thing you know, she was getting divorced from her husband too. When they on the road, they love a husband to be there to take care of their kids. But the minute they come off the road, for whatever reason, they seem to always get rid of these husbands. But now that Tony's kids are grown, she don't need no husband to take care of no kids. So Tony's like, I don't need no husband no more because I don't need nobody to take care of my kids. My kids are grown. But Tawana's sitting over here talking about, yeah, I do need some kids, so I still need a husband. But that man been dating you for 9 years and he still ain't married you and you still over here talking about how wonderful he is. He ain't that wonderful. He ain't that wonderful over here talking about from the Carrie Bradshaw show. Is he Aiden or Mr. Big? And she said he Aiden. He is not Aiden because Aiden be proposing within 1 year, 12 months. And Sean over here, AKA what? Sean Puff Diddy Combs, according to Sherelle. Maybe, allegedly, I don't know. He ain't proposed in 9 years. No, Tawanda, he is not Aiden. Get off of it. Sean is Sean is definitely no Aiden. Tony was like, I don't know. He may be sweet like Aiden, but I guess he also may be broke like Aiden. Because I don't think Aiden had no money. He was sweet, but he didn't have no money. And Mr. Big had all the money. So Tony was like, I don't know if he is Aiden. He kind of more like Mr. Big. Mr. Big in personality because he ain't rushing to the altar. But maybe he's like Aiden because Aiden didn't have much money. And Sean, I don't think has much money. Tawanda knows she played for that plane ticket for Sean to come out and surprise her with flowers. That was part of the production budget, Tawanda. You wrote him in that scene so he could come out there and get a free plane ticket so he didn't have to pay for it on his own. You just wanted him out there with you. Girl, Tawanda tried to make it pretend like the reason she cut her hair was so she could be in solidarity with Tracy. Come to find out she just had alopecia. And like I said, I think her mama put in a bad perm when she was young, 7 years old. And now she wants to believe that Sean paid his own ticket to come out here and surprise her. I think production paid for his ticket so Tawanda could have her moment in the spotlight like she's so loved and cared for. I don't believe nothing Lawanda says. Nothing. Then we had to talk about all the trauma with Lawanda from when she was 7. And she was talked about when she was young. Like I said before, Tawanda was also, when I started talking about what was their niche in the family, and I kept saying that, what was Tawanda's niche? I said that Trina, I thought she was the prettiest of all of them. I thought that Tamar's niche was she was the baby. Michael Jr.'s was that he was the only boy. Tony was the talented one. And Tracy was the funny one, and everybody loved Tracy. And I said, what was Tawanda's niche? She didn't have one. That's why she's fueled by such anger right? Now we come to find out that she was talked about when she was young because she had a bad perm. That's what I'm going to say. She had a bad perm and her hair got taken out when she was very, very young. And she done spent her whole life trying to cover it up. And then she barely let this man, Sean, see her real hair. So now we got to hear about how her misery started when she was 6, 7 years old. Like I said, these ladies been sad for a long, long time. And now they're trying to say that their sadness is over Tracy's death. No, it's not. Y'all been sad for a long, long time. We now on Tracy's second heavenly birthday by the time they filming this show. Second heavenly birthday. And here is Tony. Still, she's saying she's under so much grief that she can't even function. Tony, like I said, I don't want to be insensitive and tell a person when their grief has to end or where they should be on their grief journey. That's not what I'm really talking about. But every scene with Tony is misery. Even before Tracy's death, it's either about her lupus, bronchitis. It's something. It's like she just finds things so people can rally around her. The first episode was about her heart condition and surgery and this and that. It's just Tony's like bad news walking. Bad news walking is Tony. When she come through the door, you know she gonna have a sad, sad story. She suck up a lot of air in the room. So when she's on set, everybody got to be sort of like doing things for Tony. I noticed that when they were practicing her show, everybody's still in mask. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with wearing masks, but more than likely everybody's still wearing masks because Tony has lupus. She can't catch nothing. She don't want to get sick. Everything is always surrounding Tony. The schedule. Tony can't film. Tony, we all got to wear masks. Tony, we got to eat here, eat at this particular restaurant. Tony always picks the restaurants where everybody knows her. She know the maitre d' by name. I don't know. And then I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. Girl, you're going to cry. You're going to cry every scene you have. Every scene, Tony going to cry. Last time she was crying over her sons. Now she crying over Tracy. Tony gonna cry on every single scene. I just want Tony to be happy. Happy, happy, happy. Even when she went on the Jennifer Hudson show, then she crying on there too. Whew. This is too much, Tony. This is too much. I hope Tony is also getting her own counseling because carrying around this much misery, hurt, and pain your whole life, let me tell you, that will exasperate lupus. It will exasperate it. Like I said, I got a sister with lupus. I know what flares it up. I know when it's calm and doesn't flare it up. And I'm going to tell you, the way that Tony, when you look at her life, it's all things that really just make her situation even worse. It just makes it even worse. So I hope they all can find, like I said, more happiness in their life. Because right now, this season is all about sadness, illness and sadness. This is not what I expected, y'all. Let me know, was this what you guys expected? Was this season what y'all expected? Or did this whole season just go left? Just go left. Yeah, it went left for me. It really went left. But that's it, y'all. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And please don't forget to leave comments down below. And I'll see y'all in the next episode. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit more uplifting. Alrighty, talk to you later. Bye.